and welcome, beloveds, to the Dr. Mumbi Show. My name is Dr. MumbiSeraki. How are you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you are moving into living life truly on your own terms, because that is what is open to us. We have an opportunity that has not been open to our people in many, many, many generations, many generations. And, I always remember what the ancient ones told me, that, there was a spell that was cast over, our continent before they came in, or over our people globally before these extraterrestrial beings that we call the New World Order actually came in and started their colonization of the world. It wasn't a colonization of Africa. It was a colonization of the globe, and then creating hybrid beings, etc., etc. But those are stories for other days. Now, thanks to every single person that supports us on our Patreon and our PayPal accounts. Appreciate, love each and every one of you. Go ahead and consider supporting us for as little as $2 a month, so that we can continue to bring you all the latest news from around Africa daily. Now, the Bahamas has actually closed their borders to U.S. tourists after the coronavirus case spikes in the divided states. But they did say that other countries are still welcome. And I'm starting to wonder, who are they keeping out? Because, Europe has also said to shut their borders to anyone from the divided states, and now the Bahamas. Jamaica has said that they can't afford to shut their doors to, the divided states, because that is like 90% of their tourism, and if they did that, their tourism would die. But Bahamas has taken a very, bold step, and this is announced by the Prime Minister, Dr. Hubert Minnis, and he's also been acting as the health minister, and he cited recent spikes in coronavirus cases in the divided states and elsewhere in banning international travel, with some exemptions for emergency and essential travel. He did, however, say that travelers from Canada, the United Kingdom, and the European Union would be permitted to, to visit the Bahamas. In his own words, he said, regrettably, the situation here at home has already deteriorated since we began the reopening of our domestic economy. It has deteriorated at an exponential rate since we reopened our international borders. And, the island announced that anyone traveling to the Bahamas would be required to give a negative coronavirus test from an accredited laboratory 10 days or less before traveling, or they would be required to quarantine for 14 days. Now, a lot of African countries are also getting ready to open up from August 1st. We haven't seen what kind of, rules and regulations they'll give. I think here in Kenya, they said, as long as you're not displaying flu-like symptoms, come on in. I don't know if they'll be requiring, a test from a laboratory like the Bahamians are. The new guidelines come just 3 weeks after Bahamas reopened to international tourism. And this is what we're seeing. Poverty has so many repercussions that I don't think we've really looked into as a people. The fact that because of poverty, many of our people have had to sell their national resources to the foreign oppressor, to their former colonizers. In fact, many of our countries, the main person they do business with is their former colonizer, which is just totally insane. But it's also seen that because of poverty, there's so many countries that have had to open up, their countries to tourism, international tourism, and that has, it has brought in the good and the bad. It has helped and accelerated the corruption of our societies in ways that we can't explain. The fact that now things like, child prostitution and, many, many other things have become, such a big thing across the African continent, just shows you how we suffer because we are not in control of our own mouths. You are a slave to those that feed you, and that confirms that Africa remains a slave to many of these Western organizations that our presidents lean on for some kind of support. And we see it even with the fact that so many African countries, even though now the numbers are up, most of global Black Africa closed when their numbers were less than 100, and now they're reopening when their numbers are in the thousands. It's like it doesn't even make sense. That's why Magufuli, when he laughs at his colleagues, you can understand. And they said that the Ministry of Health, they said, the travel restrictions were just some of the efforts to stop the spread of the virus in the Bahamas, which reported 15 new cases on Sunday. And, they only have 153 cases at the current time. But the country's population is only 390,000 people. That's according to the United Nations. So let me know what you think about this. Very bold step for the Bahamas to take. When Florida is right there, it's a really, really big step. Let me know what you think in the comments. Until next time, tuko pamoja.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, Africa.
Hello and welcome to the Dr. Mumbi Show. My name is Dr. Mumbi How you doing? How's everything going? I pray you're well in all your ways and that you are living your best life. I also pray that you're taking the time to pray for global Africa, to add your energy and spiritual vibes, because prayer is powerful, guys, and just to global Africa, because so many of us are still asleep, that we don't see what is really happening, and that we are deep, deep, deep in a war. And, I really want to talk about the Hurricane Dorian that hit the Bahamas. But before I even get into what really happened, because, evidence is emerging that this was not just a normal storm, but could allegedly have involved HARP. I have talked about HARP before. I told you guys it looked like HARP was involved in the huge Mozambique cyclone, where we saw it literally miss an island and then, heavily land on Mozambique. Then a couple of months later, we see the Pope going to Mozambique. I think these things are just... Anyway, those aren't the stories for today. But what happened is, actually, before I even get into it, I do want to send my deepest, heartfelt condolences to our family in the Bahamas. Really, my heart cries out to you. There are a few of our brothers and sisters in Bahamas who reached out to me and said, why aren't African leaders speaking? Well, African leaders always let us down, but really our hearts and prayers are with you. I'm actually going to look into if there's been any African response. I wasn't able to get that information before I came to press, because what I wanted to really share is, our global disunity as an African people is going to finish us off. Now, there was a storm that hit the Bahamas last Sunday. They were calling it the Hurricane Dorian, and it was basically like a monster storm. They've never seen such a storm. There's never been such a storm recorded since they started recording storms in like the 1800s. It was a Category 5 storm. It's the sustained winds of like 285 kilometers an hour. And on Sunday, the U.S. National Hurricane Sector Director Ken Graham, he actually said that Bahamas would be under a major hurricane conditions for 10 plus hours. Whenever they say these things, I'm like, but what a lot of people are saying. And then we saw the Prime Minister visibly upset as he kind of addressed this news conference, warning his citizens. But when you look at how he's speaking, it's almost like he knows what's up. Just take a look at this. We'll be right back.
Wake up, Africa.
Most saddened and worst day of my life to address the Bahamian people. And I just want to say that as a physician, I've been trained to withstand many things, but never anything like this. We're facing a Hurricane Dorian, one that we've never seen in the history of Bahamas. Many had remained behind, and still there are individuals within the western area who still refuse to leave. I can only say to them that I hope this is not the last time they would hear my voice, and may God be with them. I can say that the Marsh Harbor area of Abaco, parts of it is already underwater, and some areas you cannot tell the difference as to the beginning of the street versus where the ocean begins.